I have built 7, 8, and 9-figure businesses, and I still have self-doubt. And you realize that as you get further along in your success, that it is completely worthless to spend your time engaging in self-doubt. But when you're really successful, you get rid of it quicker. And here's why. Welcome to the Spinoso Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Alex Spinoso. My experience and expertise is in scaling all types of medical businesses to 7, 8, and 9 figures. And I'm sharing my journey to having multiple 8-figure companies and someday, hopefully, enjoying a 9-figure exit. This isn't a podcast telling you you should do this. I'm just telling you how I did this, and I hope that helps you. I want to help you build your business, take ownership of your life, and become a better leader at home and at work. And guys, I'd love to connect with you, especially if you're a medical entrepreneur. I have free courses available to help you scale your medical business. Check those out at dralexspinoso.com/courses. That is dralexspinoso.com/courses. I also invite you to connect with me on Instagram at Dr. Alex Spinoso, LinkedIn at the same, and every other platform, YouTube, etc. I am always Dr. Alex Spinoso. Thanks for listening. I want to talk a little bit today about self-doubt. More specifically, I want to talk about the stupidity of self-doubt, because self-doubt really is pretty stupid. It's something that we really shouldn't waste our time on at all. And I'm going to give you 3 reasons why in just a second. But before that, let me share with you something that I think is a mistaken notion of success. A lot of people think that the further you get in entrepreneurship, the less you struggle with self-doubt. And that's probably true, but it's not, because self-doubt doesn't rear its head again and again and again. The reality is, people who are advanced in success in athletics, or if they're advanced in success in politics, or really if they've experienced a lot of success in any area of life, they're still attacked by self-doubt. They still struggle with self-doubt. I have built 7, 8, and 9-figure businesses, and I still have self-doubt. The difference between average people and those people at the elite level performers, they have learned to quickly overcome self-doubt. And that is because people who are advanced in their successes and who really have had consistent success really understand that self-doubt is just utter and complete stupidity. It is totally worthless for you to waste your time on doubting yourself, whether it's doubting your abilities, whether it's doubting your character, whether it's doubting your intentions. There's just so much navel-gazing that you can do. And you realize that as you get further along in your success, that it is completely worthless to spend your time engaging in self-doubt. So it's not like it doesn't rear its head. It does. It's not like it isn't a nagging issue sometimes. But when you're really successful, you get rid of it quicker. And here's why. Number 1, successful people realize that self-doubt is just an internal conversation inside your head that is just a swirling mix of emotions and thoughts. And as such, whether you convince yourself that you are enough or that you are worthy, or whether you actually succumb to the belief that you are not worthy and not good, or whatever, how you feel, what you think inside, on some level, is completely irrelevant to what your will decides to do. If your will decides to act, it doesn't really matter if you're plagued with thoughts of self-doubt. It doesn't really matter if you are plagued with emotions of inferiority. When your will chooses to act, your actions get results, and your results move you forward. So the analogy that I would use is this. If you're a typical red-blooded American man and you're married, you might notice a pretty girl, and you might think in your head, wow, she's really pretty. And you might have some emotions about that pretty girl, like, wow, it would be nice to get with her. But if, as a married man, you just say, well, I'm married and I'm going to commit to my wife and I'm going to spend time with her and I'm going to not get involved with this chick, then good things happen. And guess what? Your marriage grows. And it kind of doesn't matter if there's an internal struggle. It doesn't matter if you had all those thoughts and feelings about someone else. As long as you choose to take action that is positive and moves you forward towards your goal, it doesn't matter what your internal dialogue is. It doesn't matter if you're all bent up inside, all tied up in knots inside. So that's what you need to realize. Who cares if you have feelings? Who cares if you're doubting yourself? Who cares if you're questioning yourself? You can still basically say, I really don't care. I'm not even going to engage my negative inner voice in this argument because it's pointless. I'm just going to act and I'm going to execute. Just ignore the inner chatter. We do this all the time in life with other people. When somebody is talking to you, you can actually hear them, but not hear them. You can acknowledge what they're talking about, but not really listen. And that's what you need to do with your inner thoughts. Just, hear them, but not hear them. Kind of tune them out and just get to work, because it's the work that's going to actually accomplish something, not you winning the internal battle of self-doubt. The second thing I want to say about self-doubt is that it's really egotistical. It's easy to feel like you're struggling with self-doubt and you're this victim. You're being assailed by these feelings of inferiority. You're being assailed by these feelings that you lack some quality necessary for success. But the reality is, if you're struggling with self-doubt, it's probably because you have to focus on yourself. The facts are that you didn't build your business yourself. You might have been the driving force at the beginning. But if you did things right, you hired people who were very capable and very good, people who are great at their jobs. And for you to be overwhelmed by self-doubt is basically saying that you don't value these people. You don't value the team. You think it's all about you. So when you struggle with self-doubt, you just need to get the focus off yourself and say, man, I'm really thankful for my team. I'm really thankful that not everything revolves around me. Not everything's dependent on me. And you need to basically just stop being selfish. Stop being self-centered. Stop wallowing in pity. And go figure out how you can be of service to your team and to your customers and to any other stakeholders in your business. The third and final thing about self-doubt, I would say, is that it doesn't have to be seen as a negative thing. It can be seen as a positive thing. It can be seen as a positive trigger. The minute you start doubting yourself, that's when you should take control of the conversation and say, oh, okay, you doubt me? Well, let me fucking show you. Let me prove to you what I can do. And use your self-doubt. Flip it on its head and use it as an opportunity to motivate yourself. Say, okay, I'm doubting myself. If I'm actually questioning whether or not I can do it, then in an argument with yourself, you need to fire back and say, well, I'll show you. I'll show you what I can do. And have some balls and have some gumption and have the ability to say, okay, I'm going to rise to the challenge. If I'm doubting myself, I'm going to overcompensate. I'm going to work harder. I'm going to zero in. I'm going to do what is necessary to overcome any self-doubt and own it. And when I do that, guess what happens? You earn more confidence. You show that you can keep promises to yourself, to follow through, to be disciplined, to be perseverant, and to be persistent, and you earn more confidence. So when your own inner voice says, I doubt you, then your stronger voice, Andy Frisella calls the bitch voice, and the boss voice. When you have that battle, the bitch voice will say, I doubt you. But you need to make sure the boss voice responds, shut the fuck up, I know I can do this. You understand? So whenever you have doubts, actually embrace them as a trigger. Embrace them as a trigger for getting better. A trigger for going into action. In that way, self-doubt is seen more as a positive thing. Listen, the bottom line is that you're going to have those thoughts of self-doubt, no matter what you do. You're going to have those feelings of self-doubt, but you can learn to quickly overcome it and grow out of it. Just don't make much of it. Detach yourself from it. Understand it is just thoughts, just emotions. It doesn't control your will to act. And also recognize it for what it is, just a selfish obsession and an insult to your team. and use it as a trigger to get better. It's that simple. Just think of self-doubt rightly. Deal with it quickly. Move on, and you'll be more successful in every single area of your life.